Hello, welcome back to our channel. I appreciate the time you're taking to watch this video, and if you like this video and you get to the end of it, please remember to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and remember to subscribe to our channel. This is the day of the week where we get to answer your questions, right? So you will post questions on Instagram, on our Facebook, or below in the comment section on YouTube, and we will answer them on Question and Answer Monday. And that's what today is. So today we're going to address a couple questions that we got from the 3 of the platforms that I mentioned. So this is where I compile all of them and answer them as best as possible. Remember, I solemnly swear I am not an immigration consultant or anybody in the immigration consultation profession. Anything I say or do cannot be held against me in the court of law because I am expressing my opinion, my experience, my knowledge as an immigrant. Okay, I am a Canadian immigrant, and I've been through the process of coming here as a student to know where I'm at 5 years later as a citizen. Okay, so remember that, and here we go, diving into this week's questions. So here we go with this week's questions, right? There's a couple of them, and they're not themed, or they're not asking a question based on the same topic. They are just random questions that I'm choosing to answer. Usually I choose a theme or pick a theme, but I want everybody's questions to get answered as best as possible. So we're just gonna go with the first question, right? So I have posted on my Instagram status today that this coming week that we're going to talk a lot about the Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program, right? And somebody asked in response to that status, can Jamaicans apply? My people, my people, my people. I got you, okay? I got you. Anybody can apply. And if Jamaicans can't apply, I won't even cover it. Just kidding. I'll cover everything because I'm not going to be biased, but I got you, I got your back. And yes, Jamaicans can apply to the Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program. Where you're from is irrelevant. What matters is your qualifications or the skill sets that you may bring to Canada and your education level, probably your age. Different things will matter towards the Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program. So don't worry about where you're from. I got your back. And the reason I want to go into the Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program is because it is an alternative to the express entry. It is a fast track immigration program. So it is you coming to Canada with a job as a permanent resident to stay. And the processing time is about 6 months is what they say. I haven't yet met anybody who has gone through this program, but if you're watching this right now and you've been through this process and you're finished and you're done and you're working, please comment below. We would love to hear from you if you're willing to share your story. We can jump on a video call and we can hear all about what this process is like and what this program is like and what Atlantic in Canada is like. Yes, Jamaicans can apply to answer that question, and in the coming weeks we will get into a lot more details about the Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program. So stay tuned and look out. The second question. So, can I do the IELTS English test before I come to Canada? That's a very good question, right? Because it's I guess you're trying to be proactive and trying to get your ducks in a row before you come to Canada, or as quickly as possible. Now, the IELTS English results are valid for 2 years. Okay, so if you get your results, you do your test, it's a 2-year clock starting, and say for instance you enter the express entry pool 1 year after doing your IELTS test, right? Because I don't know what your situation is, right? Maybe you don't have enough points, maybe you do have enough points, it depends, right? But say for instance you do your test, you enter the pool and you're waiting and you don't have enough points. You have to make sure that you get an invitation to apply within the 2 years while your results are valid, or you're gonna have to redo the test. So it is nice to be proactive. If you foresee yourself having enough points to come and like get an invitation to apply or have enough points for express entry or any one of the programs, then Bob's your uncle. Get it done, right? If not, I mean, wait to come here. From what I know, with regards to the IELTS English test is that in Canada, there are a million times, okay, maybe not so many, but there are so many more centers in Canada that actually facilitate the English test than in Jamaica. I know that in Jamaica, they like Kingston, UE, you can do it at UE, and you can probably do it at one place in Montego Bay or two places in Montego Bay, or one or two places in Kingston, and then like one place in like Mandeville or something weird like that. And when I had looked one year to see if somebody I knew could have gone to do the English test, there were no dates available for the year. So double check to make sure that your country even has the capacity to facilitate you soon. Otherwise, it's easier to get an English test date when you come to Canada. Now, is it cheaper to do it in your country? I don't know. It depends on the exchange rate. So that's something that we can look into. But only do it if you know that within the 2 years, you'll have everything sorted out. Don't do it and have it expire and have to go and do it again, right? Because that's another $300. Yes, $300 for the test, for do an English test, even though you come from an English-speaking country. No. But that's how it go. So it go, them just want to check to make sure say English good, all right? You can't understand what they're saying, it's because your English don't good and you need to go to the test, all right? If you understand me, your English turn up, go and pass the test. All right, what if, here's another question. What if I don't have enough points for express entry? What are my options? And it's a very good question. So there's something that I'm going to get into on Wednesday. So stay tuned for Wednesday, because on Wednesday, I'm going to show you how to calculate your CRS express entry score. And once you calculate it, you know where, all right, this is where I stand. I'm at this many points, and CIC is calling this many more points than what I have. What do I do? That is why I'm going into the Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program, right? Because it is an alternative to that. Now, you can always do different things to try and increase your score. You can go and do your English test again and get 100% instead of 95. Or you can go to school in Canada. That's what most of us did, because that was the way in. Go to school in Canada, further your education, keep working so that you get another 1 year work experience or something. There's different things that you can do to increase your score. But instead of chasing the express entry program, seek out other options like the Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program, like the Provincial Nominee Program. Labor Market Impact Assessment is available if an employer is willing to do it. That is something that right now you might not understand. Well, what is that? Google it right now, because I'm not going to get into it right now, but I will get into it at a later video. All right, so stay tuned. This is a brief question and answer Monday video, okay? Final question. This question is not unique to my platform. I have had several people ask and asked to cover this topic, and this is a topic that I would like to have covered by somebody who is in that situation, right? Because the best I can do for you is to do exactly what you can do, which is Google, right? If I've never experienced it, I'd rather have somebody who has experienced it talk about it, because they get a real life experience. Now, I can give you my opinion as much as you can. What at the end of the day, what matters is what really is. All right, so here is the person's message. All right, so hang on with me, because I'm going to read this. Okay, I got full score on my IELTS reading. No, that's not true. I got 7.5, so bear with me while I struggle through this. Become a dunce. So I am 38 years old, and from my research, I realized that age is a factor when applying for PR after studying in Canada. My program will be 2 years, so by that time I will be 41. So, in your experience, will my age work against me? And do you see many persons in this age group migrating and receiving an invitation for PR? I feel I am too old. What are your thoughts? Age does matter in the express entry profile and the express entry point ranking system. The older you are, the less points you have. The younger you are, the less points you are. Right in between, in the sweet spot where you can, you're just entering the labor force and you're young and able-bodied, you get the maximum amount of points, right? Which For the purpose of immigration, Canada is trying to build their working class force. They're trying to build their population, especially people who are going to be able to contribute to the economy, right? So if you're close to retirement, you get fewer points. So yes, age does matter when it comes to permanent residency, but is it a deterrent? No. Now, I want to choose my words very carefully when answering this question, because I don't want anybody to be discouraged. But with being very careful with my words, I'm also going to be very honest, okay? And don't be holding your breath. This is nothing bad or anything like that, but I just know that it's, depending on how I answer, it can come across as, oh God, no. Don't take it that way, okay? So I'm going to do a comparison, okay? When I came here, I was, for the most part, fresh out of school, right? Yes, I had a couple of friendships. I had so much money in my bank account. I didn't have a car of my own. I didn't have a home. I was still living at home. Very different things that were minor, small, minuscule as a younger person. So for me to get up and just go to another country is, and I'm going to say easy, and everything is relative, right? It was never, oh my gosh, rainbows, and I never cried a day. There's times when I did cry, right? And wondered, what the hell did I do? And then, so that's comparing that lifestyle now. So a person fresh out of school, or even somebody who is still in their like 20s, thereabouts, that yes, you've come out of school and you're probably working a little job and you work for 1-2 years, you're still living at home or you're renting a place or whatever. That is from a perspective of a 20-year-old or a younger person. Now, as a 41-year-old, I would suspect that you've probably been working for probably 10 years or 9 years, right? With working for over 9 years, you probably also have a house, or maybe you're still renting, right? But you also have a community, you also have a bunch of friends, you also have, you know, a more deeply rooted and settled lifestyle in your home country than a younger person, than I was when I came here, right? And the reason I gave that comparison is because I want you as an older person who is coming here to just be conscious of the fact that it is quite the adjustment, right? Because it was still an adjustment for me, but I had less to adjust to than somebody who was twice my age. With that, you come here, especially if you're going to school, it is important to just keep in mind that you're not going to walk out of school and because you are in your country working for 9 years, probably in a managerial position or something that you want to walk right back into in Canada, just because you had that experience in your country doesn't mean you're going to walk back into here and that's what it is. And no matter what age you are, actually, because if you watch the last video with Nicholas, it took him a while to find a job, right? He's applied and applied and applied and hasn't heard anything back from some people. And it's something that you just have to be patient with. Now, I don't think you are too old. I don't. But I do want you to come here and be conscious of the fact that it's going to be an adjustment and there are times when it's going to be trying. But what's important for you, and I think I mentioned this in last week's video as well, is to really establish the reason why you are coming here very clearly. Be very clear about your reason for leaving the country that you've been living in for 41 years to go to another one. What is it for? Is it for your children? Is it for your health? Is it for just you as an individual and you want to go somewhere where you're going to make more money? What is the reason? And when you determine what that reason is, actually do the research to determine if that reason can actually be fulfilled, right? I have said this to a very close family friend of mine. He and his wife have 2 children and they have decent jobs in Jamaica. And, you know, their kids are 9 and 11, right? And I said to him that, you know, if you come to Canada now, you're doing it more for your 9-year-old and your 11-year-old than you are doing it for yourself. because it's not like because you had that position or that role in your country before that you're gonna come here and just walk into that kind of role. And I see a lot of people with that expectation, young or old, and that expectation not being met, right? I'm not saying that you can't get a good job. You can. It might take some time. It might take more than some time. It might take a couple of years to get to where you're at, to get to where you want to be. And you have to be patient with that process, or you have to be willing to accept that for you to see it through and determine if it's worth it or not, right? But as a 41-year-old, you still have 20 odd years left in the working force. Very clearly establish, determine why you're coming here. It's not a bed of roses. It's not like you're going to come here and you all of a sudden hit the jackpot and you're going to make a lot of money. There is more income earning potential here. The cost of living here is also higher, right? So do the math and determine that, come here and of course make a long-term goal, right? And long-term could be like 2 to 5 years. In 2 to 5 years is where you'll take to get to where you want to be, right? And you have to be patient with that process. So I don't think you're too old, but you have to determine how much time you're willing to hustle to get to where you want to be. And if you have kids, then it's so beneficial for them in the future, regardless of what age they are. So much more beneficial for them, because then they would have already gone through the process. They're here already. They have the choices. The world is theirs, right? So, I've had somebody, a close relative of mine who has migrated, and really just said, like if it wasn't for their child, they wouldn't. I don't want to discourage you, okay? So take this with a grain of salt, right? Take this with a real grain of salt, that all I want to communicate to you is that you need to know why you're coming here, and you need to be prepared, and you need to do research, and you need to identify where is best for you to be and your family, okay? So I don't think you're too old. I do think that it is quite the adjustment as an older person versus as a younger person. I don't think you should be discouraged. And I think that once you have your eyes on the prize and want to know what your goal is, nothing will shake you. Nothing. The bus are gonna let you sometimes, or you have to go run down bus sometimes, and it's okay. You'll get there. You will get there. So I don't want to ramble on anymore about this, because I feel like I'm just being very diplomatic, not because I want to communicate a lie to you, but because I don't want to discourage you and I don't want you to get a wrong message, right? So that is my spiel on that. So those are the answers to some of your questions in no particular order and in no particular theme. Those are some answers to your questions, and look out next week for our Instagram status. You can always send messages on Instagram, send messages on Facebook, comment below in the comment box, questions that you need to have answered or topics that you would like to have me cover, and I will definitely get to them, okay? So that's a wrap. I appreciate the time you're taking to watch this video. Please remember to subscribe. It is free to subscribe, and it means that you're joining the immigrant community and you're showing everybody that, this is where you need to be. This is where the action is at. Come on over here. Let's have some fun. Yeah. All right. So that's a wrap. I will see you in the next video, where we get into calculating your CRS score and get into the Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program, which I'm super excited about. So I'll see you in the next video.